Hello everybody and welcome back to the best reactions. Today we are going to, unfortunately, reflect on the Monaco Grand Prix. That's right. You had more than enough time to create your memes, create your reactions, because realistically, after the first 20 laps when we realised what was going to happen before our eyes, you could just chill out, couldn't you? Just have a little lay down, have a little relax, create a meme. Let's get into it. P10, El Marmos, Lawson holding cars back to benefit Hadjar. Now, I was very emotional in the race podcast, emotional in an angry way, of course. You know, we were hopeful for the Monaco Grand Prix, and look, I said it was Lawson's fault. He ruined the Grand Prix. It wasn't Lawson's fault. It wasn't the team's fault. It was the ruling. It was the fact that the two-stop was mandatory. The teams did all they could to, of course, score points. They're not just going to not do the best strategy as much as they knew themselves. They're racing fans themselves. Everyone in the teams, the drivers, they knew that was a terrible spectacle for us as fans to watch. So at least we know that it's an opinion that everybody shares. So get rid of it. Monaco or the rule? You decide. P9, 97 Cerberus. Racing Bull strategy in any other race. And then in Monaco. Yeah, they were the first to start that, weren't they? And I guess it helped and was only possible if two teammates were together, because then they can utilise the 7 seconds a lap slower pace. You know, Albon and Sainz, for example, they managed to create pit stops just between the two of them and still both finish in the points. Of course, Lawson helped Hadjar as well. It was interesting to begin with, wasn't it? When we didn't know the teams were going to pull this strategy, but as soon as we realised, we were like, uh-oh, we're in for a stinker. In P8, we have Carl Michael NMME 2026 Monaco Grand Prix. Now, yeah, these are the marshals from when they pushed Russell's car out of the tunnel. And you might have noticed as well, I'm wearing a Mercedes top because it's memes. And I think Mercedes were easily the meme team of the week. But those marshals, they were loving life, weren't they? They were smiling away, pushing the car down the hill. And, well, the 2026 cars might actually need some extra horsepower because the reports say that they're literally just running out of power halfway down the straight. So, bring in the marshals. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about away from the hashtag P1 Top 10 is the fact that Lance Stroll did an overtake. Yeah, that's right. We hardly heard a peep about Lance Stroll pulling a worldy move in his green dustbin against another green dustbin of the Sauber of Nico Hülkenberg, I believe it was. And look, I am absolutely impressed. It's a shame that Lance Stroll, apart from this particular moment, decided to not be able to see or hear for most of the Grand Prix weekend. But this, pretty tasty. P7 Monaco Grand Prix recap. Hey guys, car parade. Look, the thing is, right, we accepted Monaco. Well, accepted. I mean, as much as social media accepts anything these days. But, you know, we had no expectations coming into a Monaco Grand Prix weekend, especially for the Sunday, right? So when a new rule is put in place, we get a bit excited, don't we? Our expectations raise from the floor. And then when it's potentially, arguably even worse, especially from a sporting perspective, and the fact that it was a gimmick and still didn't work, you're going to have some uproar, and that is exactly what happened. Have you calmed down yet? P6, Formula 1 India. This one is good, because I think a lot of us genuinely thought that Mercedes had misheard that it was a mandatory two-stop, and were instead just not stopping at all, and I think they were screwed no matter what. I will back that. But at the same time, I think they chose the worst possible route. I cannot believe they didn't try something different with one of the drivers on lap 1 to just roll the dice. I still don't know whether they would have scored a point or not. I don't think so. But the fact they just locked themselves into a train for 70 laps was pretty mind-blowing. Honourable mentions time. Inferno the Fox. Park up in the runoff or drive back to the pits with 3 wheels. That's Pierre Gasly, who I believe got a reprimand for this, of driving his car in a rather unsafe manner back to the pits. I think that, well, the understanding is if your car's pretty toast, you don't try and hobble it back to the pits, especially around Monaco where there is no space anyway. But Gasly managed it, although I heard that there were other team members that had to slow down Gasly in the pits because he had no brakes. I think for the race as well, perhaps a full safety car would have actually helped us. Although race direction was giving us the vibes that they didn't want to throw any VSCs after lap 1 because we had a front wing there, and they were like, you know what, that's a double wave yellow. It wasn't. Deadly Kitten 95, she's enjoying it today. Now this is wholesome. I have been caught with my Charles Leclerc shrine of my top and my flag, and indeed a Charles Leclerc Ferrari. And this is a very wholesome picture. I'm really glad that you're introducing your sons and daughters, wherever you may be, to the P1 watch along. And look, is that a McLaren? No, that can't be a McLaren cape. That must be just a massive McLaren shirt. Or not massive, but obviously on a child it's massive. But either or, love it. Race Ticket comes in with F1 fans after 0 overtakes in 50 to 70 laps, and Formula E claiming 194 overtakes. They didn't claim it. That's actually what happened in Formula E. Perhaps F1 just go, you know what, Formula E, you take the reins for Monaco because you know how to do it round here. Because, 361, I'm quick mathing that, between round 6 and round 7 combined, is 360 more than we have seen with, of course, Lance Stroll. Let's not forget Lance Stroll, the worldy overtake that we just mentioned. But, yeah, it's a painful stat. It really is. And was Monaco Saturday enough for you? Or does the Sunday have to be a race? Because I'm not sure we saw a race on Sunday. Laos kick W Lur. Alonso can't catch a break. Stroll domination could bore fans. So Alonso still has no points. When is this man going to catch a break? Genuinely, though, because he hasn't got many years left in Formula One, if we're being honest. I mean, I can't even believe he's racing now. And yet, he still continues to be competitive. I know the 0 points is, and I teased Tommy about the fact that Stroll is, in fact, miles ahead in the Drivers' Championship compared to his teammate. But Alonso is still competitive. He should have scored points in the last 2 Grand Prix, and he didn't. And it's sad to see. So can we just, for his home race coming up, can we channel him some points, please? Ben A. Gullyford. George Russell trying anything to get past slow cars and spice the race up. This is a great meme template use. I'm not going to lie. It's different, Ben, so I'm enjoying that. But of course, Russell out the tunnel just fancied cutting it like you would in the Formula 1 game when you're playing against your friends. And you just go, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being behind you. I will take the penalty. The stewards, on the other hand, were like, well, have a drive-through. And that still didn't affect his race. He still managed to get out ahead of the Williams. Erica is golden, the most entertaining part of this race. I absolutely, categorically agree with this one, Erica. I wish that they would just add 2 or 3 minutes to this. Delay the podium to allow this to just cook a little bit more. I'm not talking about a 15-20 minute segment because it will become forced. The drivers won't open up as much. But straight out the car, their emotions are high. They're sharing with us a little bit of the insight of the race. It's great to hear about, Lando thinking about, or Charles saying, you're saving so much in turn 10. Piastri saying, I thought you were in the wall, Lando. There's so many amazing bits of information. I will constantly bang on the drum of just adding a little bit of length to the cool-down room because, honestly, after a stinker in particular, it's the best part. Morgana Megs, Oscar's commentary in the cool-down room, because we were like, whoa, and I was like, whoa. I love the noises that come out of it, the ooh, the ah, the ee. They're great at doing, they should do watch-alongs. If they don't stay as Formula One drivers, they could do well doing watch-alongs and then put me and Tommy out of business. So maybe continue to drive. But either or, Oscar Piastri is a fantastic addition to the cool-down room. At Roe W, Monaco truly is one of the circuits on the calendar. I like that caption more than I do the meme, to be honest with you. But yes, the addition of the mandatory stop did not change anything really from the qualifying results to the race day results. And that's Monaco. G_Jan91, big brain time. Now this is a meme. This is a meme that makes you think ever so slightly. It takes you back to your younger years when you were in maths class. But I get it. Good old Pythagoras. Do you? It's controversial opinion time, which means Tommy is flying in from his private yacht to come and see us straight after Monaco to discuss this controversial opinion. And it comes in from Andrea Fogliana. Racing Bulls and Williams should have been penalised for driving unnecessarily slowly. Tommy, how do you sit on this one, my friend?
I sit on don't hate the player, hate the game. A Formula One team doing everything they can to maximise the result. You can't blame them for it. They abused the natures of the Monaco Grand Prix circuit and the two-stop mandatory rule. And Formula One is all about loopholes. It's about loopholes with designing your car. It's about loopholes with everything. We applaud, well, some don't, but, Max Verstappen for knowing the rules inside out of what he can and can't do. And Formula One teams and drivers, this is what the sport is about, finding every little advantage you can. And they found something. It wasn't pretty. They apologise for it, but they didn't even need to apologise for it because it's just racing and it's all about results. And they just did what they did to secure a pretty good result, all things considered, particularly RB.
I get the frustration from Andrea, who came in with this controversial opinion, because us as fans, and I know that everyone, even the teams, the drivers, everybody knew that what was going on was wrong, but it was the rules. You were do 2 pit stops. There's no ruling around there's not a maximum lap time, like there of course is a maximum lap time in qualifying and practice to ensure we don't get massive clogs of cars. I think it's just a case of Formula One fans needing to be able to direct their criticism at the right place. And I think, both myself and yourself, Tommy, in the main race podcast that we did, we kind of maybe were saying, about Lawson and, how they were kind of ruining the race. It wasn't that. It was the rule. It was the rule. And I think that now that we've had time to relax and calm down after what was a thoroughly disappointing Monaco Grand Prix, even for Monaco standards, we can now understand that it's the rules, and the teams are just out there trying to do the best they can.
They are.
Well, that was great. Thank you, Tommy. Let us know what you think in the comments. Where do you sit on this? Is it the teams, the drivers, the FIAs? We love to blame the FIA for everything. Monaco. Where do you sit after you've calmed down from the Sunday race? Thank you, Tommy. Go back to your yacht now.
Oh, thank goodness. I needed some champagne.
Heading into P5, Tygo Cordy, my first meme ever. Just thought it was fitting. It's a good meme. For your first meme ever, Cordy, you should keep this up. Keep using hashtag P1 and you might get P1 and then win some merch. But yes, Williams had Mercedes just absolutely at their beck and call. It was just beautiful from Williams. Beautiful in a sense of they knew what they were doing. Not beautiful in any other sense, like enjoyable to watch. You know what I'm saying? Right, on to our next thing away from the hashtag P1 top 10, and it's linked with P5, and it is a lovely little screenshot of James Vowles and Toto Wolff arguing, I believe. I don't really know. I've watched the video, and it's just a commentator sadly talking over it. But you got James sort of pointing a little bit, which kind of maybe suggests some back and forth. And then Toto going like this. Is he calling James a small man? I don't think so, but it's hard to tell. But either or, those two have a very close relationship. They used to work with each other at Mercedes, of course, and Toto's been highly complimentary of James. But this was a very strange encounter with Toto, like up on a balcony, as those two exchanged pleasantries. P4, F1 Dynamic, Professor Alonso, the master of bad luck. This is, wow, that is quite the image. I'm not going to lie to you. The I can't push as well, Fernando said calmly. There was no calmness whatsoever. It was listening to it was kind of shocking in some ways, just how aggrieved he sounded when they told him to push. And clearly they were telling him to push when he was in traffic. So, yeah, Fernando maybe getting slightly hot under the collar. And him retiring felt like that stirred up less emotion for him than the being told to push, which was strange. P3, it's the same person. F1 Dynamic, well done, but it's a good meme, so I'm including it. This is actually a great meme. Lewis, how far behind am I? And then, of course, Ricky, his radio engineer, telling him a completely irrelevant piece of information about the front three battling, talking about how Oscar Piastri had a wonderful fruit salad for breakfast, where they've booked a table for a reservation this evening in Monaco. Everything but what Lewis asked, which was, am I a minute behind? The comms between Lewis and Ferrari clearly need to improve massively. Perhaps there needs to be a different duo here between Lewis and another radio engineer. But it's odd, and it's not the only thing that happened this weekend. He questioned whether they were mad at him. And now there was silence after, and I think this was blown up quite a lot. It may well have just been the fact that he was driving through the tunnel, and you sometimes get a bit of intermittent signal through there. But either or, it's definitely not harmonious right now, I don't think, in the Hamilton-Ferrari camp. P2 and just missing out on some people on merch, and this is a good meme. Majestic Durgan. Nouveau chicane. Am I a joke to you? Oh, I love it. It's simple, but it's effective, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah, both Russell and Antonelli claiming, Albon's driving erratically, so I need to straight line this chicane. Love it. Well done, Majestic Durgan. Now, before we get into P1, I've got one more thing to share with you, and it's the best piece of racing action this year. No, it's not Monaco. No, it wasn't even the Indy 500. It was, in fact, the Wienie 500. If you've never seen it, here you go. It is everything racing was ever meant to be. So, just wanted to share that with you if you've never seen it. It is real. I'm not trolling. And more of this, please. Perhaps this is what we could get the drivers in around Monaco. Probably still difficult to pass, but at least it would look funny. And P1, the winner, is Ahmed Faisal 0. I'm the most deluded man alive. You out-delusioned me. Look, as much as I don't think it's the most accurate of memes, because how delusional was I really for a P2 Leclerc quali and a P2 Leclerc race? Got under 2/10 at one point behind Lando Norris. So it was possible. But sadly, it is a procession, Monaco, and the fact that Leclerc didn't get pole just meant we were screwed. So, well done. I enjoyed the meme, and congratulations, Ahmed, on the P1 merch! Right, that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the best reactions to the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for listening to us ranting. Thank you for sharing your rants with us as well. We're a great community here at P1. And, we're straight into Spain. We can forget what happened in Monaco and fully focus on the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, which has got rid of the last chicane. So maybe, just maybe, it'll be an all right race where we see a few overtakes. We'll see you then. Lots of love. Bye.